What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in. It's the Brass Ring Media Podcast for Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. I am your host, Zach Haydorn. That over there, trying to fix this camera, is the other host, Tyler Sage. We're here to talk a little bit of wrestling with y'all. Thanks for being here, Tyler. What's going on, man?
Hey, good to be here. Good to chat some wrestling. We're back. We've got 2 weeks in a row of PLEs.
Yep.
We had a weekend off. Not allowed as a wrestling fan, so good to be back on the normal schedule.
We're gonna pay for it, man. Like, you know, the next couple of weeks between this and Forbidden Door, and then Clash in Paris, and then whatever they got going on in September with the, you know, the dual pay-per-view. It's gonna get wild pretty soon. I mean, I could rant it, but it was nice to kind of like take a breath this past weekend and not have some of that stuff. I think it's good for everybody, for us and for fans and for the company and for the wrestlers. Like it's good to have that break. And like we talked about last week, maybe absence makes the heart grow fonder. There it is, Zach. Get with it. And I think there's some of that going on. Although they'll be back in full force.
It made Raw more enjoyable till the main event for me. So,
including or until.
Okay,
I want to talk about that because I was watching the Raw main event and I was thinking to myself, there's a chance that Tyler liked this just because of the like insanity kind of around it and like just the madness, and like I feel like that's up your alley when done properly in pro wrestling matches. So let's definitely put a pin in that and talk about that more. Hello to everybody who's in our live chat. We got Ian there. We got Adam Kidd, who is a Brass Ring Media Gold member. Thanks so much, Adam. Adam says here, good evening, BRM family. Good evening, Mr. Adam Kidd. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your gold membership. Thanks to Sean Palicta, who's also a gold member of Brass Ring Media as well. So you guys will be hearing from them throughout the night. Taking care of a little shop here. We will be doing our Forbidden Door preview later this week. So it'll be in our second show, working on getting the time scheduled for that. But we won't be previewing Forbidden Door today. We'll be kind of sticking to kind of like our WWE formula for Tuesday nights. But we will preview that show in full later this week. So you will have your traditional pay-per-view preview from Brass Ring Media by the end of the week, and to get you ready for the show coming up this weekend. Also, for our members, we'll be doing a Forbidden Door review of that pay-per-view event later this week and as well. So with that said, it's time to go try us out on Patreon and become a member. Patreon.com/Brass Ring Media is how you do that. You get access to all we do as a member. So it's $4 a month. That's it. You get to go there and you can sign up and you get access to all of our pay-per-view and PLE review shows, including Forbidden Door this weekend. You get all of our member-only shows, which is once a week. I just dropped an extra one this week, a couple of minutes ago, actually, for our members about the G1. Kind of like did a big G1 look back, and it was fun to kind of look back on it and how my opinion of the tournament changed as the tournament went along. Even though I was happy with the final outcome, it was a really roundabout way to get there. We'll talk a little bit about it with Tyler here a little bit later, but that's up for members right now. And so you get all those member-only shows, as I said, the PLE reviews, pay-per-view reviews, and access to our Discord community where all of our members hang out. We've got Adam Kidd says, join. You get a ton for $4. Appreciate you, Adam. Thank you for the support there. If you want to make sure that you catch our live shows here at all times, you can obviously watch them and consume them on social media on YouTube, but you can also catch them as audio podcasts. So go to your favorite podcast feed. You can download and subscribe to our podcasts. Just search Brass Ring Media wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll pop up, and you can get all of our live shows, which include 2 Brass Ring Media podcasts every single week, the Kick-Ass podcast, Nocturnal Knockout, a bunch of stuff from Dominic D'Angelo, including a live show today that he did all about Chris Jericho, potentially going back to WWE. So that was a really fun show. So check that out. But it's all up on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and it's all up on our podcast feed. Subscribe there as well, so you guys don't miss anything. As for today, super chats are open. I want to try out a new segment at some point, which I haven't even told Tyler about. So this is going to be fun, and we'll kind of try to keep that going throughout the next couple of shows and see how it does. But you can also always contribute with a super chat. It's open. Drop us any contribution, and we'll make sure to get to your question, your comment, your rant, your rave, anything. Just drop it in there, and we thank you in advance for that, and we'll get to as many as we can before the night's over. Cool. All right, Tyler, let's start off talking about Naomi and the women's division. Not just in we could talk about it broadly in WWE across the board, but specifically for Raw. Last night on Raw, Naomi reveals that she is pregnant with the baby, and she is going to be taking time away to have that baby, and she relinquished and vacated the WWE Women's World Championship that she won not too long ago by cashing in her Money in the Bank briefcase at Evolution. She went on to defend that title successfully at SummerSlam, had a title defense scheduled against Io Sky last week, and Stephanie Vacure coming up at Clash in Paris, both of which did not happen and won't happen because she will be taking time away to have her baby. First of all, I just want to say, I thought it was kind of a cool thing that they did yesterday on the show. Like, I thought it's a tough spot for a heel to be in because that person's going to get cheered, and generally Naomi, in a meta way, I think is very likable among WWE fans. She's already kind of getting cheered even as a heel. People love the cash in. They love the fact that she's world champion. So, you could argue, I think, Tyler, that she's misaligned on the heel and babyface spectrum, as I would for quite a few stars in WWE these days. But I thought she did a pretty good job of holding it together, making the announcement, trying to stay in character at the same time. And also kind of propping herself up in a big way for whenever she comes back, if she decides to come back. So I thought this was, it's hard to tell because when Becky did it, it was in front of nobody at a weird time in the whole world and alone in the performance center with no fans. So it was kind of weird. It's kind of weird, but I thought that was fine for what it was. This I thought was more genuine, a little more authentic, a little more heartfelt. But again, you had the audience there. So what'd you make of the announcement, and how did Naomi do, and how did WWE do with this situation?
Well, first of all, how dare she be pregnant?
How dare she?
Yeah, just kidding. Obviously,
two dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some of that, she was wrestling 4 weeks ago. It's I don't know if you know how pregnancy works.
You don't know how pregnancy works.
Yeah, so just tell me you don't know women without telling me you don't know anything about women. So, it's wrestling, so it is what it is on that. But congrats to her and Jimmy. I think it's the most over Jimmy's been, probably, on TV.
Jim is gonna stick.
Yeah, so that's something. But yeah, I mean, keeping the gimmick somewhat alive, no matter what. I mean, huge pop when she comes back. So to go out a heel makes sense, but that's the last time she's probably going to be heel for a while. Is that moment right there, because when she comes back, huge pop, and but respect her, respecting the business by doing that. And, Becky's tweet also was very funny.
That was fantastic.
So yeah, well handled. When do you think they knew about this?
It
Did
sounds
Triple H know about this
week.
before the yacht pictures or after the yacht pictures, do you think?
Yeah. I think they knew before the yacht pictures. It seemed like they found out last week, where all of a sudden she can't wrestle because she's pregnant, and that's that. I mean, that's kind of what it seemed like to me, or she's not going to wrestle because she's pregnant. Before, oh my God, the yacht. Never mind. I was going to talk about the yacht pictures, and I'm just not going to now, unless you want to.
No, not really. I think it's been said.
I mean, yeah, okay. Maybe if I get fired up enough later. I'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
I
pictures.
think that's good. It tracks a lot of the WWE booking, though. Not that you can't take a vacation. Just
No,
saying.
it's nothing against that.
Vince
Yeah.
would never be on a boat. That's all I'm saying.
And also, like Triple H, man, in his day, he would have like, you know, buried anybody who took a vacation to Vince behind their backs. If they, how dare they take time off the road?
Yeah.
How dare they?
Well, yeah. How good.
Yeah. All right, back to Naomi. So clearly, I think this is going to rock like their plans, you know, for the world championship. And I mean, I think if you kind of thought like, what the heck's going on with that world title? It's like, well, now, you know, who knows at this point? I mean, it's really, I think, up in the air. I mean, you have Stephanie Vicure in the picture. You have Io Sky in the picture. You've got Rhea Ripley, you know, kind of in the picture, but also kind of just like there on a week-to-week basis to get big pops, but that's really it. So it's like, I think you can go a lot of ways with the Raw women's division, but is there something that stands out to you as like, hey, they really should because now of the situation, they have an opportunity to do X, and that's what they should do.
Yeah. Do you remember? I forget our timeline here. Do we still have like multiple months for Liv Morgan to come back?
Yeah, I can't confirm this, but I read a report that it was maybe even going to be 2026.
Okay.
So it's going to be a bit, I think.
Yeah. So that would be the easiest thing. What I'm seeing on my screen would tell me that they're propping up Io Sky for like a quick, way to get that title back, which sucks because her and Rhea were going to be a very fun tag team. Yeah. I think this will be like an alliance of some sorts. But yeah, I think Adam is feeling how I'm feeling. You know, good thing it's not AEW.
Yeah, we'd definitely be getting a tournament. Adam Kidd says, please, just no tournament. Yeah, I'm kind of done with the tournaments too.
I would also add like the Battle Royal. Like, I don't need to see that either.
That was E's suggestion, or prediction. I'm not sure which one is E, but
you know, I also don't need like 4 Fatal 4 or like matches that get people into a Fatal 4-way match. So like, I'm cool personally, like just not doing this on Clash in Paris, making this like a main event of Raw in like 3 weeks to like crown the new champion and just be like, hey, Io and Stephanie Vicure, they were going to be like the two people, you know, just taking her on and about to come up. So just put them against each other, have a match where we really don't know who's going to win, and just do it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You literally like took the notes off of my screen. To me, it's like, this is a good moment to just have just like a really great 35-minute match on Raw, like for the women's title, you know, and I totally agree. And storyline wise, you can reasonably get to a place where Io Sky and Stephanie Vicure make sense as the challengers for that vacant title, because they were both owed singles matches for the championship. So I think that's the best thing to do. My thought about this was, you know, it probably wasn't in the plan, obviously, to crown Stephanie Vicure yet, because I don't think they were going to take the title off of Naomi that fast. But now that it's off Naomi, it seems like I wouldn't be shocked to see them just push their chips in on Stephanie Vicure and get her, you know, a big win to elevate her quickly. I mean, she's gotten good reactions since she's come up to the main roster. We know she can have good matches. There's fresh matches with her and pretty much everybody on the show. So I would not rule out them using this opportunity to kind of get her positioned as a tip-top star on that brand. And then that way you can kind of still do your thing with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky as a tag team if you want.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean, I think the faster you crown this next batch of women with, you know, Roxanne, Julia, Stephanie, the better, honestly, to like get them in that threshold where you have, just multiple women who you're not relying on. Like, well, just put on Io again because she's one of 2 people that have been champion and we've trust. You want to get to the point where you can have multiple people with that title, which is like anti what's going on in AEW, where you have like 2.5 stars. So it's going to cause issues down the line when you need one of those, if one of those women needs a vacation or whatever. So
Adam made a good joke here, and so I flagged it. He thought I didn't flag it, but I did flag it, Adam. So let's put it up there. Adam says, "Who knew all Jimmy needed was a 30-second squash to get over?" There you go. I love it, Adam. Good stuff. We have a comment from King X Podcast here, who joined us from Twitter. So thank you, or X, I guess. King Podcast says, "Give Roxy and Steph a rivalry, with Roxanne beating her at Mania, and then Liv comes back after Raw." I mean, Liv versus Roxanne is clearly like a match that they're going to do when Liv Morgan comes back. I don't know. I mean, I'm in the Stephanie camp. I think that she works. Roxanne, I think still she's not missing what Lyra Valkyria is missing, in my opinion. Like, I think Lyra Valkyria is very much missing, a major part of being a top tier pro wrestler on a nationally weekly televised show. And that's personality and charisma and character. I think Roxanne has that. I also think she's kind of miscast at this point. I think Money and Roxanne Perez is as a babyface at some point. So I think you're looking at a few years maybe before that gets kicked into full gear, but she's such a good babyface that, I don't know that you want her winning the championship maybe until that moment. Like, I don't know. It's a good call, King Podcast. I'm not sure, if you want to play that card with Roxanne before you turn her babyface. Yeah.
I mean, historically, there's like two paths for Roxanne, and I would agree. She got over in Ring of Honor at the tail end of Sinclair Ring of Honor as about the most like generic babyface of all time, which worked for her when she was like 18.
Real quick, talk about her then, though, because like, to me, watching her then, I mean, she's way better in the ring now than she was then, even though she was pretty good then too. But what I think she had then that stood out, and you can talk about this better than maybe anybody, is just there was that just like innate babyface factor where she could play like the straightest of white meat babyfaces and still get over, because it felt genuine for her, in my opinion. But talk about her.
I mean, she's always been like that prodigy character, real and fictional at the same time, because, part of being a fan of that Ring of Honor brand should coincide with her so well, because like you want that Adam Cole, you want the Bucks, you want Adam Page, you want, Cody Reclamation Project. You want like all of this stuff that's like the cool wrestler before they're, 10 years before they're big and, headlining WrestleManias, as Roxanne's on her way to do. And that's, 2019, 2020, or I guess, her and Willow was like, trying to get my dates right. It's like 21. That's right when the end of Sinclair happened. So, it just felt it as a fan, you see the talent, and it worked for her being that, like, not being called a prodigy and like obviously taking that in NXT, but you knew this was like somebody you could build a company around at such a young age. And because of that, the gimmick worked of like, oh shucks, I took the bus to wrestling school. I lived in Dallas. Well, she took the bus like an hour to get to Booker T's wrestling school back in the day. So it's like all of that like works. And when someone is like, seems like a genuine nice person and is like 18, like if Nick Wayne did a babyface character, if Billy Starks did a babyface character, like it's more easily believable because they're like pretty young and innocent in general. They're not like a 30-year-old who has gone through some stuff in life, like, all us 30 and 40-year-olds have gone through. So it just fit of like, it was believable, and her work rate was incredible for her age. And it's just that person wanted to get like buy stock early on as a wrestling fan, which is kind of hard to innately lock in on. But, the finals of that tournament were Willow and Roxy, as her name was at the time. So pretty good booking there for them. I forget where we started on this, but what I was going to say, there's like two paths here. I think there's like Cody as a heel becoming a babyface in Ring of Honor, and then there's the Alexa Bliss path of like where they go. And I know there's like two wildly different paths, but like because the other one is what, like Chris Jericho, like 96 babyface. Like it's like the option to go where you just like bring her up as a babyface, and you have kind of like Julia, which is like, yeah, she's a good wrestler, but there's not much going on there character wise. At least Roxanne gets something. So it's like I think either of those paths work, and not that they have to do either of them, but that's like where I see for Roxanne to like get to the babyface spot, because I can't remember like how either of those characters got over. I think it was just because like they did good work, just like Liv Morgan. Like she's not even technically a babyface until she comes back, but just doing such good work and as that character, and then slowly transitioning. I think those are good like templates of arcs for her as a character.
It's really good Roxanne Perez analysis, and yeah, you've really seen her career from like the very beginning. Like, that's pretty cool.
I've told the story of. I mean, it's deep in the archives of PW Torch. I've told the story on air, right?
No.
So like I did a Ring of Honor podcast. And we did like in the heart of the pandemic. We were doing interviews every week, and that was basically the show. And I don't know. Whenever she signed, Ring of Honor like pushed her to us. And me and Ryan, my co-host, had no idea who she was. And we were like, well, we'll just do it. Do a favor for Ring of Honor. They have this tournament. So we'd never seen a match. Nothing.
Well, because like, how would you have seen her before that? Like,
yeah, I mean, probably House of Heroes. Is that what was it called? What's Booker T's?
Yeah, it's something like that. But I mean, it's not like, I don't think they were even on like any of the wrestling streaming services at that time.
No. I think maybe YouTube or something, but yeah, I mean, it was just like didn't know anything about them, so it's very interesting. I want to go back and listen to that actually now that I think about it. So, but yeah, that was like just put me on because the company pushed her to us, and then imagine trying to get an interview. Reality of wrestling. Thank you. Imagine trying to get her on a show now.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have to pull quite a few strings on a show now.
Unless it's Stephanie's podcast or
something. Right? Oh yeah. Oh god, that podcast. Ugh. Let's see. We've got some really some fun comments here that I want to get to. First, Mike says here, "What are they going to name the kid?" Could be an interesting. Drop your name suggestions in the comments.
Talking about shoot name or gimmick name.
Both, I guess. If you have thoughts, I thought the crowd was clever last night with the Baby Uso chant.
Yeah,
I thought that was a clever. Was a clever move. And then Adam says here, yeah, Lyra is who you can call when you can't get the baby to fall asleep. Ouch. Adam, you're feisty this evening. Very, very feisty. Adam also says here, though, do you speed up whatever they're doing with Bayley and have her bridge the title gap? So glad you brought this up, Adam, because it was on my list of things to talk about in terms of reviewing Raw from last night. And we've seen kind of this like Bayley losing her mind gimmick that I think is what they're going for. That she's externally, trying to be very like thoughtful and like, hey, this is my fault and I didn't have this and I feel weird and all that. And then like inside, you're supposed to get the sense that her mind is just all over the place and out of control and just and wild, and she could crack at any minute. But before you answer Adam's question, Tyler, what do you make of these vignettes and like the what is a clear gimmick change, character change for Bayley? And do you buy how they're presenting this right now?
Yeah. So I guess on Adam's question, she just doesn't seem like a world title character to me currently. It hasn't for a long time, ever since she won it last time. To me, she's almost like Chris Jericho, like a year ago. It's like, a former huge star, and like you're kind of like just like sputtering around trying to figure out a gimmick that's just like not working. And there's things that like it's a kernel of a good idea, but it's not like a fully fleshed out idea. And it can be like fine for a Lyra Valkyria, a Becky Lynch, starter feud for any of the women we just named. She could be in a tag team against Io and Rhea. Like all that works for this character, but her being, for me, like a world champion is a serious downgrade. And they have to do a lot of work, in my opinion, to get her in that spot to not just be like a huge negative, where I'd rather them go with Stephanie or somebody new and try that out as opposed to this. It'd be not as bad as if they went with Nikki Bella, but it's kind of in that family of decisions as opposed to just like going with somebody can be a champion.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either, Adam, for a little bit of a different reason than Tyler. I think that there's some upside with this Bayley character change, because any character change, I think, is upside for her. Like at this point, she needed some kind of refresh of something. Like clearly, I mean,
like what was it before? How would you define it before? Just Bayley?
Yeah, just kind of Bayley. Like she didn't really have the heel bad guy edge. She wasn't a very compelling babyface. She didn't go back to the hugger thing. So it's like she was stuck. And so I'm like cautiously optimistic, because with this kind of like inner battle thing with anybody, I think it's tough for that to play out on TV in a wrestling match. Like you can do it with like vignettes and production and stuff like that. You can convey easily that she's having this inner battle. Adam says here in the chat, I think it's an inner battle between the hugger and the ding dong heel. Okay, I get that, but you can showcase that in a backstage vignette. You can't do it when she's just out there cutting a promo and being a heel, like, or being a babyface. Like you can't show that. So you have to be able to find a way to present this kind of conflicted character within the confines of wrestling match. I think that's going to be a problem, but I'm here for the ride. And I think it's better than Bayley kind of just doing her same old Bayley thing. The reason why I wouldn't put the title on her is it seems like this is the type of character that you need to see flush itself out all the way. Like if it has any chance of being something big or being a main event act or being a world title level act, like I don't think it's something you hot shot and go up. Like let's skip ahead 4 chapters in order to get there. I think with this is something you take your time with. If you've got 7 vignettes of these planned, air 7 of them and go and then figure out, the title picture in a different way. I think they've invested something in this, and I don't think you hot shot it just because you want to get the belt on her. Because as you mentioned, she's not that valuable right now in that regard. Like the value in her is getting rebuilt in this new gimmick.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, is there any track record of a character like this working in modern wrestling? Because, like, it's not spooky, but it's, like split personality. So to me, That's more like The Fiend.
Yes.
It's more like Alexa Bliss, Sister Abigail. That's more like Aleister Black. It's more like the Dark Order. These are not good comparisons. Julia Hart, stuff like that.
Yeah. These are not good. And those are not good comparisons. And it's hard. It's why it's like the same. It's like The Fiend and like Bray Wyatt. It's like that. It's good in theory, but then you have to actually have a match in the ring, and then it kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
So Adam, good question. I am intrigued though. Like I think it's been a good part of Raw, just as because it's fresh, I guess. I mean, that's how low. Maybe that speaks to the quality of Raw right now, but it's a low bar to clear for me. But it's like it's fresh, it's interesting, it's new. Like I'll take it over 4 non-finishes.
Or another match for money between both promotions.
Or another match. Yeah, right. Exactly. Adam says here, well, with the way Trips books, we should see what she's going to be by SummerSlam 2027. Oh, God. One can only hope.
Yeah.
One can only hope.
On the all-out card.
If that. Yeah, the all-out card. Yeah. All right. Well, if you got any more thoughts on Naomi and thoughts on the women's division on Raw, drop your notes in the chat, or even better, do a solid and drop a super chat. Any contribution helps. I got super chats open if you want to ask a question or a comment. We'll make sure to get to those. So please drop them in there. I want to talk a little bit more about Raw last night. Tyler, you alluded to the main event, which was a Extreme Rules match between Jey Uso and Braun Breaker. Shockingly enough, which is just, I can't believe it, but we had 4 or 5 people interfere in that match. It's just like, it's outrageous. It's just a shocking moment for Triple H booking. And Jey Uso wins, gets the big win. Roman Reigns comes back. When I'm watching this, genuinely about this match in particular, I was like, I wonder if Tyler liked this match because it had some wild craziness. It had some, just this element of like chaos to it, which I think I would say generally, if done right, you like lean towards as far as like some good pro wrestling matches. This had that, but it also, was it good enough? Like, or was it just same old, same old? I guess that's what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, it felt like the criticism had been heard about like the lack of finishes in main events, and this is like a way to be like, hey, we got to finish. Here's
guess. I mean, it's still okay. Go ahead.
Here's like the thing that got me, and I think there's like going to be 2 camps on this, and it's like, do you want your crowd chanting for the surprise before it happens?
Yes.
Like, do you want them so trained that they know it's going to happen, and they do pop? So it's like, I'm not even sure I'm right in my opinion. But it's like, when it's CM Punk, and they're calling for Roman. Like, they just know the order of like these reveals and like the hierarchy, and like, hey, if you're a marketer, that's probably something you would adore, of like all your products are like totally in hierarchical order for your customer base, and they will just tell you exactly the order and who's the most important.
Because there's some consultant right now for WWE that's just beaming ear to ear.
Yeah. So like, there's that, or there's how I feel about it, where it's like, yes, like maybe you and I and people watching this know kind of what's going to happen. But when the guy who's taking his kid and watches like maybe WrestleMania and whatever, I just don't know. Like, I don't know if I want that amount of people knowing exactly how this is going to go. It's just more to my point of like, and just like this whole show too. Like, that crowd didn't care about really anything on this show until the very end here. And it's like, you're trained only to care about these run-ins, the extracurricular activities of like who's running in, the big reveal, all that stuff, which is like a key in all of wrestling, right? I'm not saying don't ever do that, but it just like was so apparent last night of like, this entire company is a house of cards built on Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, just like running in and doing stuff. And like, this whole vision group is just, Bloodline 2.0, which we all know. It just like is so like readily apparent that that's like it. And like, there's nothing behind the eyes, so to say, of this booking. And it's like discouraging to watch.
Super well said. And I agree. In a vacuum, and just like watching the show last night, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I mean, whatever. It was crazy. It was chaotic, big pops, fun to watch. You got to win, blah, blah, blah. But when you peel back just like one layer of that, it's like the last 4 weeks of Raw, and I've checked this, so this is documented, have ended in some kind of combination of what we saw last night. Either heels interfere and they beat down those exact baby faces, the baby faces battle back and run down those exact heels, or Roman Reigns comes back. That has been the last 4 weeks of Raw in the main event.
Yeah.
Like, you
and the openings are the same too.
Right, the openings feed that.
Yeah.
And so it's like last night, I think Roman Reigns was a big mistake last night, to be frank. Like, I think you had actually a pretty decent like story arc for the show of like, you've got this vision group, they're beating up these baby faces, there's this fatal 4-way and by the way, I'm not saying that I like this, or that I even think that this is like, expert booking, but it's like something you can watch the show and go, well, this tracked throughout. You got this vision group. You've got CM Punk trying to rally the baby faces to get on the same page for a night to make sure that they hold that group in check. And by the end of the night, they do, and Jay wins, and that's that. Like, it's something. And then Roman Reigns comes in and kind of just steals all the heat away, all the energy away from that story. So I just thought they overdid it with Roman. And to your point, you can't have Roman come back every week. Like, he's a part-time guy, so he's not going to be around for a long time. And like, a lot of these angles are built on the surprise of these people coming back. And I'm with you. It's unsustainable.
But yeah, besides Jay, you've like signaled to your audience that the Roman Reigns Bronson Reed match is more important.
Yeah.
It's like Seth and Punk and LA Knight were not accounted for in the final shot.
Yep.
They, were run off or, dead from a Slim Jim table. CM Punk obviously taught LA Knight well how to lay it after a table spot for 10 minutes. But yeah, I mean, it's all of that. And I think I have an answer for Adam for his honest question.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this up.
You do.
Adam says here, and thank you, Adam, for the question. It says, honest question. When was the last time you guys were surprised in wrestling? Do you have one?
Yeah, it's got to be WrestleMania 39.
Yeah.
Roman beating Cody.
Yeah.
Which I loved. I thought it was super ballsy. Also, I would say this year, I certainly thought Will Ospreay was going to beat Adam Page to go to the fight, to go to All In. So I would say those two. Those are like big time events. So there's probably smaller ones, but those two, genuinely shocked at the result of both those matches.
Yeah, I was shocked at the 39 is a good call. I don't think I would have remembered that one, but that definitely is a good call, because that was surprising and ballsy, as you said. I don't know. Like, part of me, I don't want to say like John Cena turning heel, but like, I was surprised that they pulled the trigger on that. Like, that was a genuine surprise too, of just like, and again, not because it was a good decision. Clearly it wasn't, but because it just was like, whoa, like they're going there. So I think I'd put that on the list too.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I went optimistic with mine, but yeah, yours is correct. It just sucked. Everything after that, besides the first two promos, everything else sucked about that.
Yeah. Chat. When were you last surprised by wrestling? Let's hear some of these, because I think that this could be a fun topic to dig through as the show goes on. Thanks, Adam. Good question. But to take this a step further, though, in terms of like Raw being a good wrestling show, I bring up what I just mentioned with like them stringing this narrative through the show. Punk is trying to get the baby faces on the same side. At the end, he does, and they win. Like, that to me, like, again, it's not like expert booking. It's not even A+ booking, but it's like that has to be enough to carry your show. Like if that's going to be a thing that you put through your whole show, the whole narrative of the show, and like 2 weeks worth of programming is going to build to that has to be good enough to stand on its own. Like, you have to be able to trust that angle to stand on its own and close a show, and that people are going to care enough and be happy enough going home that Punk and Knight and Jay were on the same side and they battled off the evil Vision group. Like, that has to be good enough for fans. And like, you're same thing with SummerSlam match that we talked about. It's like, you saw this great epic main event SummerSlam street fight between John Cena and Cody Rhodes. Cody wins the title back. That's got to be good enough. That's got to be the last shot. That's got to be standing tall in people's minds. But you got to go to Brock after that. I just think it's they've got a misplaced notion right now of like where these moments come from. And I think see it play out over and over and over and over again. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, and I mean even the nuance of that storytelling, I thought was a little like weak. Like CM Punk,
yeah. I
like when he like pushed Knight over, I was like, okay, well, that's
yes.
I mean, which is fine. That's kind of his like character. So actually, like, I was like, that is CM Punk. So maybe that's why people like him. But yeah, just all that stuff, and that's like, I think a little bit of that is like you can tell, like Roman's coming, so everything we're doing is like doesn't matter as much. Yeah, and that's kind of just the vibe of the entire show is like all this is fine, but again, like the show is telling you Roman and Bronson Reed is the main event, at least from the Raw side of Clash in Paris, which is insane to me, honestly. That's like Cena taking on Big Show, and that's the main event, while you have CM Punk as your world champion against Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. And I think like this manifests itself, this type of thing in other ways too. It's like, I feel like Rhea Ripley the last 3-4 weeks has just been like player music. She's going to run out. The crowd's going to pop huge, but that's it. That's like all you're going to get from her. She gets the biggest pops, but she's not like a centerpiece of the show collectively. And it's like, they're like leveraging her popularity and her openness just for those one-off run-out pops. And it's just like, no, can you just like attach the rocket to her for real? Like put the title on her or have her chase the world championship, and that be your story. Like, I think that matters in pro wrestling. And I don't know.
Well, it seems like Triple H wants to book her like the Undertaker. Right. Where like she doesn't need the belt. She's already a draw. Is the vibe I get. I'm not saying that's correct.
Yeah. I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong. Let's see. We got Adamson here. When he was last surprised was probably Roman coming back in the Thunderdome. Good one. Mike says here the last 2 times Rock interfered with booking.
Yeah. So we got the soul stealing and what's the other time? Oh, the 40. Is that 40s main event? What else? What else are we talking about here?
I was thinking of it more as like what Rock wasn't involved with. Like,
because
he wasn't involved at WrestleMania this year. Is almost unforgivable, but like, so that was kind of surprising to me. Good call, Mike.
Rock is very important for that ESPN deal to get done. I think is what the corporate answer for that would be. So,
yep, yeah. All right. I thought up a fun segment that I want to try, and then we'll talk a little G1, and then we'll ride off. If you guys have Raw comments, drop them in. We'll talk about them. Send a super chat. We'll talk about them. We'll also, if we have to,
believe you did not get Mr. Iguana on the show. It's insane.
I'm sorry. I don't even really get Mr. Iguana, but
I actually don't either, which is like surprising to hear. So sorry.
I thought you could maybe like explain it to me. Like yesterday I brought it up in the Discord, and like everybody was kind of like, nah, you're not missing anything. I don't get it either. I'm just kind of like, what the hell's going on right now?
It's like too bad Danhausen's contract got extended for injury, or else he'd be a good Mr. Iguana.
He would. I don't know. God, yeah, boy, that.
Which that guy. So can I have one Danhausen comment live on air?
Live, do it.
Okay, of everybody that's talking about the Ring of Honor stuff, the only person to ever ask for money to do an interview was Danhausen. Out of everyone that ever did the Ring of Honor show with us, of that whole roster back like 2017, 18, 19, was him. So just for what it's worth.
Wow. That's
probably why Tony Khan doesn't use him, because certainly hard to work with is how I will put that nicely.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. I'm shaking my head. If you're listening to this on podcast, I'm shaking my head.
So yeah, I don't know why that just came to me when I brought up Danhausen. So usually don't like stir stuff that it really made me mad back in the day. So I don't care. Danhausen. Now you're just stuck in AW and you can't.
Yeah,
I'll have to find the Twitter DM of him asking for money so I can prove it if anyone else wants to. Anyway, sorry.
You totally should screenshot that and throw it up.
Yeah, I'll put it on the Discord.
Yeah.
It's on Discord for it.
All right. I was driving a long distance somewhere, And I was thinking when I was driving, it was just me. I had music on or whatever. And I was like, oh man, like, gotta try to come up with like a segment for the show. But I don't want it to be like, I didn't want it to be like too complicated. And I didn't want it to be too fancy, but I wanted it to be something that like we could contribute to, but also our audience could contribute to. And so what I started kicking around in my head was like, what do I do like when I'm in the car, like just like thinking of stuff as time goes by. If I'm driving to work or from work or to an appointment or whatever. And I do this. I ask myself like silly, crazy questions about everything, but pro wrestling too. So I thought it would be cool to have like an outrageous question of the week segment.
Okay.
That's rooted in something that's potentially real down the road. So it's worthwhile analysis, but so out there that like it may or may not be relevant for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years.
Okay.
So this is the question that I came up with as our first one. If you guys are out there and you're listening, you've got like outrageous questions like the one I'm about to ask. Send them in. brassrmedia@gmail.com, or you can get them to us on social media or in the Discord if you are a member. But let's see how this goes for a little while. My question to you, Tyler, this week do you think the WWE has its WrestleMania 50 main event on the roster right now?
Yeah, so that's what, 2034?
So that's 41. So 20. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So 2030. Well, no. Yeah, 2031. Yes. 2034. Sorry. 34.
Both of them?
Both of them. Do they have that main event on the roster right now?
No, I don't think so.
You say no?
No.
Okay. Why not?
Well, everybody, just like a numbers game. Almost all of them would be over 45. That, besides Braun, I don't think Fatu is there. I'm trying to think anyone even under 37 besides those two. For real. I guess you could say like Nova Femi or something like that, or someone. But no, I think it's probably somebody who is like not currently wrestling. They're playing college football or something.
Okay.
Or it's somebody from AEW, like an MJF or something.
Ooh, I didn't think of it from that angle. That's good stuff. Adam Kidd says nope. I actually took this from a different angle, and this is the exact question I asked myself. I've thought about like, okay, WrestleMania 30, right? 31. Let's just call it 31.
Mm-hmm.
Was main evented by Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns.
And Seth Rollins. It was a triple threat match. Thank you.
Seth Rollins. So it's like, okay. 10 years later, WrestleMania 41. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, still in your main events. Mm-hmm. John Cena in a big match at WrestleMania 31, in a big match at WrestleMania 41 as well.
Yeah, one without a tank, but
oh my God, I know, without a tank. Jeez. Yeah, man.
31's like the WrestleMania I can recall almost the best of any of them. So you picked a good one for me to flex my muscle.
That was a really good WrestleMania. Like
it's also the most drunk I've ever been in my entire life. Just for a fun fact for everybody.
How do you remember that?
Well, I watched it over again. Yeah. It was bad.
All right.
There should be a Patreon. So I've been
waiting. We need a Patreon.
I've been forthcoming tonight with lots of stuff. So.
Oh my God, I love that. I cannot wait to get this on Patreon. That's fantastic. But like, I kind of think like if you start looking at it that way, and you look at like, all right, who had big matches on the WrestleMania 41 card? I mean, Jacob Fatu would be somebody that I think is on there. Braun Breaker would be somebody that wasn't on the show in a prominent way, but we know is like positioned for big stuff. So like, I still think that I think the numbers game is in like, yes, like it probably would be. I mean, how hard is it for somebody brand new to like crack the WrestleMania main event that's like an outsider from the company? I mean, Cody did it kind of, but not really, because he was started.
He's a Dusty's kid too, so
that's what I mean. So he only like kind of did it, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm. It makes for a much more interesting conversation this way. But I thought the numbers game was like, well, there's no way that someone in 10 years can come in and create themselves into that from nothing. So, and then I was like, well, man, that's not good for your WrestleMania 50 main event, because, I don't know, who that would really be if it's not Fatu and Breaker and Obafemi maybe, or somebody like that. Or maybe it's in the women's division, maybe it's Roxanne or somebody, for something for Cure.
Yeah. How good's our recall here? WrestleMania 1. Let's just call that like 0 for the sake of the argument, right?
Okay.
Hulk and Mr. T and Roddy and Orton, Cowboy Bob. 10's main event is Diesel, and
10's main event I think is technically, isn't that Lawrence Taylor technically? I think it was technically Bam Bam and Lawrence.
Okay, well, what's the anything other than that?
And then it was
Diesel?
No, that's WrestleMania 11. That's WrestleMania 11.
Yeah, it was Diesel versus somebody. The Diesel and Sid, is that 10?
No, 10 was Brett. 10 was Brett.
Brett
and it was Brett and Owen to open, and then it was Brett and Lex to close, I think. It was like that tournament thing.
Okay, because it'd be 95. So that's before. Is that before? Yeah, before Lex left for Nitro. Yoko? Oh, Brett and Yoko? No,
that was 9.
That was 9. Yeah, because then Hogan came in and saved it. Okay. Anyway, 20.
But it was definitely Brett. He won the title at WrestleMania.
Okay. So, historically, different people from 1 to 0, 1 to 10.
Okay.
Who's in 20?
I see what you're doing here. 20 was.
Is that Benoit and somebody?
Triple H, Benoit, and Shawn.
Okay.
And it had 2 world titles. So,
so Shawn's your like through line there of eras, right? 30 is Danielson, Orton, and Batista, which is like a through line there of Batista of that era. 40 is Roman and Cody, with lots of other pop and circumstances.
So
what I'm just saying is like,
it's a good argument.
You have like a through line, but you don't have like somebody in the main event 10 years later consistently. Hogan basically is 1 through 9, and then what's him and Rock? Is that 18?
Who?
Hogan.
Hogan Rock's 18. Yeah.
Okay, so there's almost that, because that's really the main event. But like, good Lord, that's Hulk Hogan. Let's not go crazy here, and like, no one's Hulk Hogan, no matter what we think of him. Yeah. So I just think like that era of it's like, do I think Roman and Seth and Punk, and maybe not Punk, but do I think like Roman and Seth and whoever else you want to throw in there, Cody, are on the show? Yes. Do I think they're the most important story on the show? No. If they are, then I think that's like really a pretty poor sign, and then you're going to get like a lot of like a pretty rough 3-year period where you're just breaking in a bunch of 30-year-olds to try and make a whole new 20-year era of that company.
Yeah. The difference would be like, so was Brett on the roster for WrestleMania 1? I don't think he was.
Probably not. He's probably in Calgary.
Yeah, I don't think he was. So it was a little bit later. But Shawn, if you go to 10 to 20, Triple H was on the roster. Oh, maybe not. He might have been in WCW.
Yeah, but Shawn was all the way to 26, and he could have gone longer if he wanted to. Like, Shawn's a pretty good example there of like longevity. In my opinion.
That's true.
He could have. Shawn probably could have, if he like didn't get hurt and obviously didn't have the, if he treated his body the way they do today and had a less of a schedule, I think Shawn could have been 10, 20, 30, honestly, if he really wanted to.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny, like, yeah, good point. And Adam says here in the chat, Brett was at WrestleMania 2. So yeah, so a lot of this is like right off the 10
Yeah,
10 year mark. So it's
but
interesting.
like, you know, what's Roman's first WrestleMania? Is it 30 with the Shield?
So
They-
29 with the Shield. He was at,
Okay.
and then they wrestled at 30, and then he wrestled in the main event
Yeah.
at 31.
So yeah, I mean, you start to think he's not main eventing post like WrestleMania 46 or so, which is still a 5-year run for Roman at the top, which is huge. But that's like peak of what you can expect to have a main eventer, I think, in pro wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and then if that happens with Roman, I mean, geez. I mean, I don't know that anybody will break that.
You're basically main eventing 31 to 45-ish. I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
it's just insane. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, and I mean, and then like, you know, obviously the 2-night WrestleMania thing is something to mention in this discussion, because a lot of people will have claims to WrestleMania main events, and rightfully so, I think, in most cases.
Yeah.
But not like the main event like it was prior to 2-night WrestleManias. Because like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso like have claims to make WrestleMania main events. So, you know, it's that gets watered down a little bit. But it is an interesting. I just was like, man, if they are on the roster, that's crazy, because like it doesn't seem like, unless it is Cody and Cena and Roman, like nobody's up to par on that yet. But 10 years is a long time though too. So
yeah, like I think, you know, if you want to say like, are they currently wrestling? I would say yes is my answer.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's an 18-year-old who's going to be, you know, 25 main eventing WrestleMania, right? I think it's somebody who's currently wrestling.
Yeah.
Is going to main event WrestleMania 50.
Dude, it could be somebody like Dom.
Yeah.
You know, like it could be somebody.
Dom's also sneaky, like 31 or something, right?
Is he really?
I don't know. I'm not. If anyone under 30 blows my mind.
People. There aren't anybody under
28.
Oh, it's okay. So that's not. I mean, if he main events WrestleMania in 10 years, it'll be 38.
Yeah.
Roman is what, 40 right now?
Yeah, Braun's 27. He's about to turn 28. So.
Okay. So, but yeah, like, you know, your WrestleMania main eventers in WWE, I mean, they're all seasoned guys. Like, they're not like young talents. I mean, even Becky, when she was in the main event, I mean, how old was Becky 10 years or 7 years ago? Like, in her 30s for sure, right?
Yeah, probably 40. Right now we're 38, so she's probably like early 30s.
Yeah, early 30s. So, yeah. All right, there you go. I think that was a good first outrageous question segment. Hopefully you guys got the gist. Something reasonable to discuss, but also kind of out there at the same time. So we'll see what next week brings. Drop if you have questions and good ones, drop them in.
Yeah, you might have to like approve mine, because like my initial question, I'll tell you off air, and I'll let you know if that was like that's like a Patreon episode or not. So
I am
also free on YouTube for all to see.
I'm in on that. Adam actually brings up a good chat here. It says the last phenomenon to main event was Brock Lesnar at 19. I would toss Roman Reigns back at you, Adam, for WrestleMania 31, even though it wasn't going great for him at that time. Like, he was kind of like the chosen one for the company at that time. So I put him on a similar level, although not as effective.
Yeah, and he was also like 26.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, he was a lot. Yeah, good point. All right, last thing. G1 wrapped up. As I mentioned, I did a long G1 show for our members. So if you want to check that out, you watch the G1. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And you can check out that show for members up on Patreon for in-depth like analysis of the tournament. But Tyler, Konosuke Takeshita, the winner of the G1 this year. What'd you think of that choice?
Yeah, I need to watch the match, to be fair. It was him and Evil, right? Was that the final?
Yeah.
So better than Evil winning. Yeah, just it makes me curious. Like, what's his? Does he have a Forbidden Door match right now?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, I mean, he's probably a focal point of Wednesday, I would think.
I would think.
Get him like somebody, and like it just depends. Like, if I'm Tony, like, is he a top 3 heel in my company, or is he not? And like, I don't know what his contract status is. This just made me think a lot about that. Of like, New Japan needs Takeshita way more than AEW needs to.
Yeah, so true.
That doesn't mean just like let somebody. If I'm Tony, I'm not letting him go because I need all the talent I can get.
I think I may have lost Tyler.
And people, can you hear me?
Tyler, are you there, my friend? Earth to Tyler. Oh, you're kind of coming back. You're kind of like flickering in and out.
I can do, yeah.
You're flickering in.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Flickering out. You're being very wishy-washy right now. Okay, now go. You're good.
Okay, I can hear you the whole time. So that's very interesting. And now it seems like I'm probably going. Anyway, if I'm Tony, I'm not letting Takeshita go. That's what more I care about. Basement Wi-Fi for sure. Yeah, it's just like, I guess that's what I'm curious about going forward from this is like the health of New Japan. Things come in waves. They're just in a bad spot right now. A lot of younger talent coming up. It'll be fine, I think, in the long run. But it's more like the AEW perspective of like, do you take advantage of this crazy opportunity for a guy to like win the G1 that's actively on your roster? Take advantage of that. So we'll see. I tend to agree with Adam. I don't think they capitalize on this greatly. Like if he's not on the show and he's doesn't have a match at Forbidden Door, I think it'd be insane. But we'll see. I also wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if they can capitalize on it, but even if AEW doesn't capitalize on it as much as they could, it is a good call for New Japan. I mean, he is a like. I think he can be like a premier talent for that company, provided he doesn't get, not buried, but defined down on Dynamite every week. Like,
yeah,
it's almost like if you have him win the G1, if you're New Japan, you're like, all right, we're going to put him over in the G1, but like, Tony, you got to help us out. Like, either don't put him on TV and so he can just be like a New Japan guy, or you got to treat him like the top-notch star that he's trying to masquerade around as in New Japan, because I think it's a great move for New Japan, but so much of its success hinges on what he does in AEW that I think will just alter the perception of him positively or negatively. So like, I mean, anybody who likes New Japan, I think would be excited for Takeshita matches against a lot of people in that company, all of that new class, David Finlay, anybody at that level. But it's like, those matches are only huge if he's not defined down on Collision on a day-to-day, on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, for sure. So.
All right, there you go, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. We thank you. We thank you for joining us live. We thank you for downloading the show after the fact. Thank you to all of our members. Thank you to our Gold members, Adam Kidd, who's in our chat today, and Sean Palikta, who wasn't able to make it. But thank you guys for the support. If you want to become a member, now is a great time to do it. Up on Patreon is our $4 options, our $4 tier. You get access to everything we do, including a Forbidden Door PLE review show, pay-per-view review show, this weekend. More on the G1 up right now for members, and another member-only show coming up later this week from Tyler and myself. So it's a great time to check it out. You can also hang with the members on Discord and take advantage of some other perks. So head over there right now, patreon.com/BrassRingMedia. As Mike says, join now. Yes, do it. Thank you to Mike. Thank you to Adam. Thank you to, let's see, who else joined that I missed? Who's our new guy?
King X Pod or whatever.
Pod X Pod. Yep. Andrew H was in there. Appreciate you, Andrew H. Tracy, thank you. We appreciate it. We'll be back on Thursday Robert will be around, hopefully, for Nocturnal Knockout tomorrow. And you guys will have a great time with him as usual. So for Tyler, I'm Zach, and we'll touch you guys next time. See ya.